Hello friends, I am Dr. Jitendra Joshi from Global India Business Forum. Today we are in Armenia Embassy in Delhi, and here with me is very senior diplomat and His Highness Ambassador, His Excellency Ambassador of Armenia. Uh,
Hello, I would like to welcome my friends.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, today we want to discuss about the business affairs, sir. Actually, the business is the most important thing because the whosoever country is actually flourishing in terms of business, the growth will be there. The financially they will be so good. As we are discussing, and today only I came to know that Armenia and India we have oldest relationship from the 7th century, where actually there are Armenians, our friends, those who are part of India before Britishers. And so this is very important information from your side. And just we received the book from ambassador that India Armenia, and this book is very important. Definitely, sir, we'll go through it. That thousands of years back, our forefathers together they are working together in terms of business and other affairs. So, I just will you please throw some light on that, because maybe our friends from India they also come to know what exactly the relationship of Armenia India from so many years.
Yes, of course. I can say proudly, as I told you in our private discussion, then that Armenian present here in this country for long ago. Of course, we are talking not about some official ties, because Armenia lost its independence. Old Armenia, of course, we are talking in 5th century AD. So it was. We are talking about some personalities, mostly Americans, coming to India from ancient time to have some economic ties with Indian Americans. Of course, they were coming through Iran, Persia to Armenia, and they were very well established in your country, especially in the south, like in places like Chennai, Calcutta, Goa, and so on. Unfortunately, in present time, we can say that we are starting our relations from almost 0 point. So this is big obligation for both of us, for Armenia and India, to build new bridges for solid economic cooperation, and we are trying to do our best in that direction to put things on right track, on right path.
Great. So we are not aware, maybe Indians, maybe our present generation are not aware that we are having so many good relationship with Armenia for so many years, maybe 7 centuries, maybe thousands of years back. We started interacting with each other, and the information that Armenia and Indian forces are fought against Britishers also. So this is a really good information. So talking about business now, Armenia was a part of Soviet Union, and I think in 1992 when you got again the independence. So last maybe around 30 years. So we are now in the new relationship, as you said rightly say. Specifically after COVID, the MSME sector, the micro, small, and medium sector, they are expecting a lot from many countries actually. So in that case, the very little question I want to ask you: what exactly the Armenia want to offer to Indian businessmen, so that that attraction to for the Indian businessman really matters a lot. And listening from you, this opportunity will be really helpful for our businessmen, MSME of different part of India. What exactly the Armenia offers to Indian businessmen, so that they should have that attraction to come to Armenia.
Spheres, very interesting for us to cooperate with our Indian friends. Of course, first of all, this is the spheres where India is very, very developed, like IT, like pharma, like some agricultural projects, yes, chemistry, jewelry, precious stones, cutting, diamond cutting, and so on. Unfortunately, during this COVID period, our tourism industry suffered very much. Last year, only 6 months of this year, more than 7,000 tourists from India went to Armenia, and hopefully this number will rise in future because Armenia is very interesting destination for Indian tourists. It's also very friendly country with beautiful nature, with good cuisine, and some other advantages. So I am not a representative of tourism industry, but I can definitely say welcome to Armenia. You will get there very good hospitality.
Armenia is very lovely country. Actually, even though it was a part of earlier Soviet Union, it was very much close to maybe some European culture also. And I think you are a combination of European Asian combination culture. And even though there are a lot of Christian, this is the oldest Christian country we can say. And the information is that there are very good and oldest churches are there in Armenia. So this is really very attractive point for the Indian tourist that as His Highness just said that 7,000 tourists has just visited. But there is a huge potential. There are maybe thousands of new visitors now. Maybe the companies can think about, tourist companies can think this is one of the really best destination for hospitality and tourism industry. So apart from that, tourism industry, what do you think? As you are comparatively a smaller nation in terms of numbers, the 3 million population for Armenia. What do you think? What India or Indian government can do for Armenia, India business growth? So will you please throw some light on that, sir?
I'm here in India less than 1.5 years. But I can tell you from this point of view that we feel full support of government of India concerning developing our business ties, business relations, and of course this is very important. So this friendly atmosphere also promotes business ties. For example, just 3 months ago, our Minister of Foreign Affairs was here for raising a dialogue. And as I said, we are trying to build a bridge between India and Armenia after long period of absence here. So we must overcome that gap, as you said. And we'll do it definitely with your support and with the support of both governments, Indian and Armenian.
Indian hospitality, you are enjoying. I hope you must be enjoyed the Indian hospitality as we always try that all guests are welcome in India, and Indians always try that we should help the world as we have big numbers. And in the COVID time also, our Prime Minister and our Health Ministry did a wonderful job by sending a lot of vaccine to various part of world. So are you happy? And your opinion about our Prime Minister Modi, actually, who is really best Prime Minister till now in India? Your comment on his contribution, which really matters a lot.
Yes, of course, Armenia was from those countries with big support from India during this COVID pandemic. We received a lot of vaccines from India, and we are very grateful to Indian government. The second part of your question about Prime Minister Modi, of course, I express my personal opinion, but this is predominant opinion also of my government members and officials. I tell this is opinion of also our Prime Minister, that Prime Minister Modi is exceptional political leader. He is maybe one of the strongest political leaders in the world, because it's very difficult to find a lot of political leaders on that level, like he is. He's a statesman and he's big patriot of your country. And of course, being big patriot, he is also helping us to be, to love, to support all types of our possible connections and ties on bilateral basis.
You recently just mentioned about Sabka Saath.
Yes, I like that motto very much. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas,
Sabka Vishwas.
Sabka Vishwas also. Of course, it is very also good lesson for many governments and many countries to follow this way, to work to the sake of their people.
You're absolutely right, sir. Because these three words, what Mr. Modi and our government is now penetrating, that togetherness, that development, and that trust. If these three things are there, that it will be helpful for any country, any city. Even the personal relationship also can be developed with these three words. And sir, the business growth now, the Armenia, India now, as you just said, now we are starting new, even though we are the ancient ties, we are starting new. Specifically about few sectors, say education sector, like just we discussed about the tourist hospitality. Say education sector, there are a lot of educationists, those who are very keen for such kind of business ties. So, will you please tell us about education is one sector, and apart from that also, which sector you see that these are the potential areas where we can think about more ties up with Indian and Armenia businessmen together also.
Oh, there are several, but education, of course, is a very important one, because we have something like 3,000 Indian students in Armenia, mostly medical students. And we are planning to increase even this number, because a lot of Indian students who left Ukraine, for example, during this conflict period, part of them, they are trying to get Armenian
Admissions.
yes, and of course our Ministry of Education now and the Medical University of Yerevan are working in that direction to accept, to receive Indian students. Of course, we are not a big country, not with big possibilities like Russia, for example, or some other countries, but certain number of Indian students we will receive in Armenia. This is one in educational sphere. We are working for long ago, even from Soviet period of our history. Another one very important area for me, it's high tech and IT. This is the sphere when we can work even without physical presence in each other's countries, by outsourcing or some other means. And there is a huge interest from Armenian IT companies to cooperate with Indian specialists, because you are one of the most advanced countries in the world, and you have huge IT sector in Maharashtra, in Gujarat, and some other parts in Karnataka. So this is another very interesting area for cooperation between our two countries, and we are working now. Some Armenian companies even requested me to send some IT specialists from India to Armenia. So This is very, very interesting and having big potential, one of the most important spheres of cooperation. Also, pharma, I would mention also some other things connecting us. Indian textile is very interesting in Armenia, Indian leather, gems, as I said before. So there are so many, and I think we have a good, solid base for that cooperation, and on solid base you can build very,
Big
very
building.
big and interesting building.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes, what you say is right. There is the base is now we need to create that base so that based on that, both side businessmen can look forward. At the same time, for the youngsters, as Armenia is also a young country, India having more than 65% population, having less than 30 year of age, and definitely, as we just discussing that skill development. A lot of skill development program happen in India so that we can provide really good manpower to various countries also, so that our youngsters, the skilled youngsters, can go and contribute for the development of many other countries also. So will you please tell us what do you think for the opportunities for the youngsters to come to Armenia to serve in a specific sector as such? This is very important to know to all my young guys, those who are listening this discussion. What opportunity you suggest them? These are the specific areas for Armenia to these guys can come for the maybe for the job to serve the country, and ultimately the development is happen.
As I mentioned before, maybe the most interesting cooperation can be established in IT sphere. Armenia, IT sphere in general is one of our government's priorities. So our government pays big attention to development of that sphere. And of course, but as far as we are a small country, so with limited human power, of course we need some extra manpower, and it will be very attractive to have this manpower from friendly country like India, uh, because IT is future of economy. So digitalization is future of world economy. So having such a good perspective, we can cooperate very well with each other. I can tell you, for example, about one project in Armenia. We are now establishing a big engineering city in our capital, Yerevan, and with big participation of uh, the most famous brands in that sphere. I mean IT, like Windows, like Google, like some other companies in Armenia. Exceptional one, because not every country in our region has such a big participation of that famous brands. But we need some specialists, of course, some more specialists. And this is very interesting at having good perspective cooperations here.
So now, the specifically two things I want to ask now, as this relationship has started building, what do you specifically expect from the government of India, that you want some specific extender help to grow this business opportunity for Armenian businessmen also?
Frankly speaking, I don't think that we need some special opportunities, because uh, due to my experience here in India, we have full support of Indian government, some main ministries, and also other institutions. So it's mainly the work of our businessmen trying to establish B2B contacts, and also our governments, both Indian and Armenian, to help those people to get real partners, good partners, reliable partners in both of our countries. That is our mission that I hope we will do in the best way. So up to me, Indian government makes everything needed on legal basis and with some other types of support just to be very useful in this cooperation.
It's really good comment that so good support and such a good opinion about the India you have. That's the last thing actually, as you rightly said. Only government can't do anything. Only so it's responsibility of people, businessmen also, and the associations like us, like the Global India Business Forum actually, who is doing so well at all India and global level. So as we have just discussed that, we can even think to form the India Armenia Business and Cultural Council, so that the roadmap should be clear. It should not be that only one time we are meeting and then nothing is happening. So what do you think, sir, this council will be helpful for India Armenia Business and Cultural Council that GIBF is going to form?
For sure, uh, the role of organizations like Global India Business Forum is very big one in bilateral economic ties, because the more bridges we'll have on that track, the more active will contacts we will have. So this is just another platform to have some ties with Armenian businessmen, Armenian business society. So for me, this type of contacts is the best way to have better cooperation.
So today we are just completed the good discussion with the ambassador of Armenia in India, and as we are discussing, there are so many opportunity between both the countries for the youngsters, for the businessmen, as sir has rightly suggested, for the IT guys, and many other options for the tourist hospitality industry. And the time is there that this relationship now go ahead, and we should really do wonders for the both the countries. And sir, we are really thankful that you are spending such a nice time with us. And we are committed. Global India Business Forum is committed to take this relationship ahead and really help to grow this relationship further. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much for coming to our embassy. I hope that we will continue this cooperation, which will be in the sake of our two peoples. Thank you once again.